You there. The black girl in the back. The one in the cheap uniform. Come up here, now. Chase Hendricks's voice cut through the Orpheum Theater like a blade. 500 people turned to look. 2 million viewers watched online. Zara Williams was only 11 years old. Her hands started shaking. I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean. Save it. He grabbed her shoulder and pulled her into the bright spotlight. Let's see if you can actually sing, he said coldly, or if you're just taking up space. He snapped his fingers at the band. Give her higher ground. That song. The song with the impossible note. The note that had made him $2 million. He leaned in close to her. His microphone was off, but hers was still on. Fail quietly, kid. The room went silent. Everyone waited. What Zara did next didn't just prove him wrong. It destroyed everything he had built on lies. 4 hours earlier, Zara had been standing in the same theater, her stomach tight with nerves. She lived in Compton with her mom and her 2 little brothers, squeezed into a small 2-bedroom apartment. The heater only worked in one room. Her mom was a nurse at County General, working night shifts, sleeping during the day, grabbing short 3-hour naps while Zara cooked mac and cheese and helped her brothers with homework. Money was always the question. Can we afford it? Not this month. Maybe next year. Zara had been singing since she was 5 years old, standing in the second row of the New Hope Baptist Church choir every Sunday. When she was 7, the choir director, Miss Johnson, had pulled her mom aside after church. Your daughter has perfect pitch, Miss Johnson said. Only 1 in 10,000 people can hear notes that way. She hears things most people can't. Her mom smiled, proud but exhausted. So what do we do with that? Training, Ms. Johnson said carefully. Berkeley, Juilliard. Then she paused. It costs money we don't have. So Zara sang where she could. She sang at church. She sang in the school choir at Jefferson Elementary, even though the music budget had been cut 3 years in a row. She sang quietly in her bedroom at night, copying vocal runs from YouTube videos on her mom's old phone. Her range was unusual D3 all the way up to G6, notes so high they sounded like wind chimes. She didn't know that was rare. She just knew it felt right. Then the letter came. Jefferson Elementary had been chosen to perform at Chase Hendricks's charity gala. The school exploded with excitement. 20 choir kids, a real stage, television cameras. Zara's mom bought her a white blouse from the discount store. The tag stayed on until the morning of the show just in case they had to return it. Chase Hendricks was famous for these galas, one every year. A new city. Photos with poor kids, big smiles. The press called him generous. His brand was built on being the voice of a generation. 4 platinum albums, 2 Grammys, deals with Pepsi and Nike, and at the center of it all was that note. The whistle registers C6 at the end of higher ground, the note no one else could sing. Except during soundcheck that afternoon, Zara heard something that didn't make sense. The choir had been told to stay backstage and be quiet. Zara wandered close to the side curtains, curious, wanting to see the stage. That's when she heard Chase rehearse. He sounded good at first, trained, polished, expensive. But when he reached for that famous high note, his voice cracked. It broke around a 5. 2 full steps below where it should have been. He stopped, angry. Bring the track up, he snapped. I need more support there. The sound engineer adjusted something. When Chase tried again, the note was perfect. Too perfect. It didn't sound like it came from his throat. It sounded like it came from the speakers. Zara froze. She had perfect pitch. She could hear the digital shimmer. The way the note floated on top of the music instead of living inside it. That C6 wasn't his. It was a backing track. She went back to the choir and said nothing. Who would believe an 11-year-old girl from Compton over a man who sold 4 million albums? But now, under the spotlight, with his hand gripping her shoulder and millions watching, Zara understood something else. He knew she'd heard him. This wasn't about giving her a chance. This was about making sure no one would ever believe her. The band began to play. The opening chords of Higher Ground filled the theater. Zara swallowed hard. I don't think I can. Sure you can, Chase said sweetly for the audience. Just follow the music. The verse was easy, comfortable. But the bridge climbed higher and higher toward that famous whistle note. The note he couldn't really sing. Chase stepped back, giving her space to fail. "Whenever you're ready." Zara took a breath. Her grandmother's words echoed in her head. "If someone tries to make you small, you stand tall." She opened her mouth, then stopped. "Mr. Hendricks?" Her voice was quiet, but the microphone carried it. His smile tightened. "Yes. Can you turn off the backing track, please?" The theater went silent. "What?" he said. "The backing track," Zara said. "I want to sing it for real." Whispers spread through the crowd. "That track is part of the arrangement," Chase said. "But you sang it without the track at soundcheck," Zara said, her heart pounding. "You sang it alone." The whispers grew louder. "Soundcheck is different." "Then can you sing it first?" she asked. "Without the track." "Show me how." The question hung in the air. Cameras zoomed in. Chase stared at her. "You want me to audition for you?" "No, sir," Zara said calmly. "I just want to hear how you hit the note." Gasps, nervous laughter. Chase's face turned red. "Fine," he snapped. "Kill the backing track." The engineer hesitated. "Do it." The music thinned. Chase sang. Strong at first, confident, professional. The audience relaxed. Then came the bridge. E4, G4, B4. Still okay. D5, E5, A5 hit. Neck tightened. Then he reached for the C6. His voice shattered. He coughed and laughed nervously. "Dry throat," he said quickly. "That's why we protect the voice." But everyone had heard it. "You didn't hit it," Zara said softly. Chase glared. "My voice is tired." "But on your album," Zara said, gaining strength, "you hit that note 27 times. Every live video online, it's perfect." Phones came out. "I have perfect pitch," Zara continued. "That note is 1046.5 hertz. C6. What you sang was 932. That's not the same." Someone whispered, "Is she right?" "And the voice on the album," Zara said, "is a woman's. Sophia Mitchell. It's in the credits." The theater erupted. "Stop talking," Chase hissed. "Why?" Zara asked. "Because it's true." Before he could answer, a voice came from the side. "She's right." The sound engineer stepped forward. "I've run the track for 5 years. He's never sung that note live." "Silence. You're fired," Chase whispered. "I know," the engineer said. "But she's braver than I've been." The crowd turned. "Sing it," someone yelled. Chase looked at Zara. "Then you sing," he snapped. "Right now." Zara's hands shook. Miss Johnson called out, "Sing like church, baby." Zara closed her eyes, breathed, and sang. Her voice rose. Pure, clear, effortless. Then the C6 rang out perfect. She went higher, then came back down like music itself. When she finished, the theater exploded. People stood, cried, screamed. Zara Williams was trending worldwide. Judges stood up. Industry legends spoke. And the truth finally had a voice. "Young lady," Kraft said slowly, "I don't think you understand the consequences." Zara lifted her chin. "I understand you're trying to scare me." She stood up. Even though she was not even 5 feet tall, even though her hands were still shaking, she looked him straight in the eyes. "Sue me if you want," she said. "But I'm not signing that paper." Kraft's face went hard. "Then we'll see you in court." He snapped his briefcase shut and walked toward the door. But before leaving, he turned back one last time. "By tomorrow morning there will be stories about you," he said. "About your family. Private things, painful things." He paused, letting the words sink in. "And when it gets bad, and it will remember this, you chose it." Then he was gone. Miss Johnson pulled Zara into a tight hug. "Baby, are you sure?" "That scholarship. I don't want his money," Zara whispered. But when they stepped into the cold Los Angeles night, Zara couldn't stop shaking. She had just refused $50,000. She had put her school's funding at risk. She had made an enemy out of one of the most powerful men in music, and for the first time she wasn't sure if telling the truth was worth what it was about to cost. Zara woke up to her phone buzzing like angry bees. It was 6 a.m. She had barely slept 3 hours. Her mom sat at the tiny kitchen table with the laptop open. Her face was pale like she'd seen a ghost. "Mama?" Zara said. Her mom's voice cracked. Baby, don't go online today. Please don't look, but Zara had already grabbed her phone. The screen was flooded. Thousands of notifications. Messages, tags, alerts. She opened Twitter. The first thing she saw made her stomach drop. A photo of their apartment building. Peeling paint. A broken gate. Trash bins overflowing. The caption said, "This is where Zara Williams lives." Another line followed. While she accuses Chase Hendricks of fraud, she's clearly desperate to escape poverty. Zara's hands went numb. Then another post. Someone had leaked her mom's work schedule. Her mother doesn't even make $30,000 a year. Of course, the daughter is looking for a payday. Then yearbook photos from school. Someone zoomed in and circled the free lunch stamp on her tray. Government assistance her whole life. This was never about truth. It was about money. The comments were worse. Ungrateful kid. She should be thanking Chase. This is what happens when you give the people opportunities. These people. Her phone kept buzzing texts from unknown numbers. Threats, slurs, hate. Ms. Johnson called. "Don't come to school," she said quickly. "The principal wants to meet." "And there are reporters outside." "Reporters?" Zara whispered. Her chest felt tight, like she couldn't breathe. She felt like she was drowning. Then at 7:15 a.m., everything shifted. A woman named Sophia Mitchell posted a video. She was in her 30s, black, sitting in a recording studio. Gold records hung behind her. She looked straight at the camera. "My name is Sophia Mitchell," she said. "I'm a session singer, and I am the voice Chase Hendricks has been selling as his own for 15 years. Zara's mom grabbed her hand so hard it almost hurt. Sophia continued. "That little girl told the truth last night. I sang the whistle register notes on Higher Ground and 4 other songs. I was paid $2,000 per song," Sophia said. "And I was asked to sign an NDA. She held up a paper to the camera. This is my contract. This is proof." Then her voice got stronger. "And I'm done staying silent while a child gets attacked for exposing what I was too afraid to expose." The video had been posted 8 minutes ago. Already 50,000 views. Within an hour, 2 million. Within 3 hours, 7 more session singers came forward. Each one had contracts. Each one had proof. Each one confirmed Zara's story. By noon, the narrative flipped completely. Now the trend wasn't rumors. It was proof. Zara sat on their worn couch and watched the internet tear apart the man who had tried to destroy her. For the first time, she wasn't alone. But Chase Hendricks wasn't going down quietly. That afternoon, his legal team filed a $10 million defamation lawsuit, not just against Zara, against Sophia Mitchell, against Marcus Webb, against Jefferson Elementary School. $10 million. At 3 p.m., the papers were delivered to their apartment by hand. Zara's mom stared at the document, shaking so hard she could barely hold it. "We don't have money for a lawyer," she whispered. "We don't have money for anything." And that was the point. The lawsuit wasn't meant to win. It was meant to scare them. Even if Chase lost, the legal fees could destroy them. It was a weapon, and he was using it perfectly. Then it got worse. By 4 p.m., gossip sites started pushing the same story again and again, like it was planned. Sources close to the family claim Zara's mother forced her to confront Chase. They planned it to extort money. Former neighbors say the family plays victim and asks for handouts. None of it was true. All of it was published anyway. By 5 p.m., Jefferson Elementary was under siege. Not just reporters. Angry Chase fans stood outside the school, teenagers and adults holding signs. Liars. Frauds. Leave Chase alone. The principal called an emergency meeting. Zara and her mom sat across from him in his office. He looked like he had aged 10 years overnight. "I'm sorry," he said quietly, "but the school board is considering suspending Zara pending investigation." Investigation of what? Zara's mom snapped. She told the truth. Everyone saw it. The principal rubbed his face. "The board is worried about the threats. We've increased security. Parents are calling. They're scared." Then he added, softer, "And Chase Hendricks' lawyers are threatening to sue the district. They claim we failed to supervise Zara, that we let her defame their client. She wasn't on school time, Zara's mom argued. Ms. Johnson spoke from the corner, firm and angry. It was an evening event. The principal's eyes dropped. It was a school event. The choir represented Jefferson Elementary. That means legally we're liable. Zara felt her chest tighten. So I'm being suspended because I told the truth. The principal's voice broke. You're being suspended because the school can't afford to fight Chase Hendricks. His words landed like stones. I'm sorry, Zara, he said. I really am. But the board meets tomorrow, and I don't think I can protect you. They left through a back entrance to avoid the cameras. At home, the apartment phone wouldn't stop ringing. Reporters, threats, and one caller claiming to be Child Protective Services. They said they had reports that Zara's mom was exploiting her. It was fake. CPS didn't work like that. But it still scared them. Every call felt like a knife. Zara's brothers were terrified. They didn't understand why angry people were outside their building, why their sister was on TV, why everything felt like it was breaking. That night, Zara's mom sat on the edge of her bed, eyes red from crying. Baby, she whispered, I need to ask you something. Zara swallowed. If you could take it back, would you? Zara thought about the $50,000 she refused, the reporters outside, the suspension threat, the lies, the $10 million lawsuit. Then she answered quietly but clearly. No, I wouldn't take it back. Her mom closed her eyes, and a tear rolled down her cheek. Then we fight, she said. I don't know how, but we fight. But fighting felt impossible when the other side had unlimited money and unlimited reach. That night, Zara lay awake in the bed she shared with her brothers, listening to their breathing. She imagined Chase Hendricks in a mansion in the Hollywood Hills, sleeping safely behind lawyers and money, knowing the system was built to protect people like him. She thought about how easy it would be to give up, to sign that paper, to say she lied. Then she thought about Sophia Mitchell, silent for 15 years. About Marcus Webb, silent for 30. About the 7 other singers who finally came forward. They were all scared. But they spoke anyway. Because someone had to, even if that someone was just an 11-year-old girl who refused to lie. Zara closed her eyes, knowing tomorrow would be worse, not knowing tomorrow would bring something she never expected. Help. The knock came at 7 a.m. Zara's mom opened the door carefully, expecting reporters. Instead, a woman in her 40s stood there in professional clothes, holding a briefcase. Mrs. Williams, she said, my name is Diana Carter. I'm an entertainment attorney. She paused. I'd like to represent your daughter. Pro bono. Zara's mom blinked. I'm sorry, what? No charge, Diana said. Sophia Mitchell hired our firm to defend her. And when we heard Chase sued an 11-year-old child, 3 partners volunteered to take Zara's case. May I come in? Within an hour, their kitchen table was covered in papers. Diana worked fast, writing notes, marking documents. This lawsuit is garbage, she said bluntly. Defamation requires false statements. Everything Zara said was true. She looked up. He won't win. He knows that. This is intimidation, not a real case. So what do we do? Zara's mom asked. We countersue for fraud, Diana said. False advertising. And breach of contract with ticket holders. Then her eyes sharpened. We make it a class action. We make it too expensive for him to keep fighting. A second knock came. Ms. Johnson walked in with Marcus Webb. I wanted to check on her, Marcus said. He sat across from Zara. Up close, he looked exhausted. His eyes were heavy. His face was tight. Chase's lawyers came after me too, he admitted. I've been in this industry 30 years, Marcus said. I've watched powerful people crush others, but I've also watched movements start. He pulled out his phone. Look, Zara saw it. Her name was trending again, this time in a different way. Alicia Keys had tweeted, protect that child. Listen to her truth. John Legend announced he would cover legal fees if needed. Kelly Clarkson. Fantasia. Jennifer Hudson. One after another. You're not alone, Marcus told her. The third knock came at 9 a.m. A woman introduced herself. Rachel Goldstein, 60 Minutes. I want to do a story, she said. A real investigation. Chase's career. His credit theft. The industry that protected him. Zara's mom narrowed her eyes. Why? Rachel's voice softened. Because I have a daughter your age, she said quietly, and if someone tried to silence her for telling the truth, I'd want someone to help. By noon, their apartment was full. Diana's paralegal arrived. Sophia's contacts offered statements. Teachers from Jefferson Elementary asked how they could support Zara publicly. Then Sophia Mitchell herself arrived. On video she looked powerful. In person she looked tired. Human. Scared. She sat next to Zara and held her hand. I was 23 when I signed that NDA, Sophia said. I needed the money. I needed the credit. When they buried my name where nobody would see it, I told myself it was fine. Just business. She swallowed. I told myself that lie for 15 years, until I watched an 11-year-old refuse to lie at all. Zara admitted, I'm scared. Sophia nodded. Me too. Then she squeezed Zara's hand. But we're scared together now. That's different. By evening, even major news outlets were changing their tone. The New York Times prepared a story about hidden voices behind pop music. Rolling Stone started an expose on Chase's full catalog. Billboard investigated how many artists used the same kind of secret help. This story was bigger than Zara now. It was about stolen work, erased names, people used and discarded. Then the principal called. The board voted, he said. Zara braced herself. You're not suspended, he said. We're rejecting Chase's donation and releasing a public statement supporting Zara. We don't want money from someone who attacks children. That night a GoFundMe appeared. Not made by Zara's family. It was made by parents, teachers, community members, strangers. The goal, $50,000 to replace Chase's donation. In 6 hours, it raised $300,000. Zara sat on the couch watching the donations rise, reading messages from people she'd never met, teachers, musicians, parents, kids her age, people saying she gave them courage. Her mom read one message out loud, voice shaking. I'm a session musician in Nashville. My work has been stolen for 20 years. Watching Zara gave me the courage to demand proper credit. Thank you. Marcus had been right. This was bigger than one lawsuit. This was a movement, and Zara Williams, 11 years old, small, shaking, scared, was at the center of it. Not because she wanted fame, not because she wanted money, but because she did the simplest, hardest thing in the world. She refused to lie. Story continues smoothly into court. The courtroom was smaller than Zara expected. Los Angeles Superior Court, Department 23, wood-paneled walls, buzzing fluorescent lights. 30 people sat in the gallery, mostly reporters, plus supporters who had lined up early. Chase Hendricks sat at the plaintiff's table with 5 lawyers in expensive suits. He wore a navy blazer and an expression that looked like hurt pride. Zara sat at the defense table between her mother and Diana Carter. Her legs dangled from the chair. They didn't even reach the floor. She wore the same white blouse from the gala, the nicest thing she owned. This wasn't the full trial yet. This was a preliminary hearing. Chase wanted an injunction to silence Zara, Sophia, and Marcus, to stop them from speaking publicly again. Judge Patricia Moreno entered, a Latina woman in her 60s, 20 years on the bench. She looked at Chase's team, then at Zara, and something flickered in her face. Mr. Kraft, she said to Chase's attorney, you're seeking an injunction against an 11-year-old child. Your Honor, Kraft began. Her age does not erase the harm caused by her false statements. Were they false? Judge Moreno cut in. That's the question. Kraft swallowed. The statements were made with malicious intent to destroy my client's reputation. They were made after your client humiliated her on stage, Diana said, standing. Your Honor, if I may. Judge Moreno nodded. Diana walked forward with a tablet. I'd like to submit unedited footage from the charity gala. The courtroom watched. They watched Chase drag Zara into the spotlight. They watched him whisper, "Don't embarrass yourself, kid," into a live mic. They watched him fail to hit the note. When the video ended, the courtroom was silent. Diana faced the judge. Your Honor, he didn't summon this child because she lied. He summoned her because she told the truth, and it cost him money. That is not defamation. That is consequence. Judge Moreno turned to Kraft. Do you have evidence that Miss Williams's statements were false? Kraft tried to shift. Your Honor, the music industry uses vocal enhancement. That's not what I asked, Judge Moreno said sharply. Did she lie? Yes or no? Silence stretched. We believe the context was misleading, Kraft said finally. So, no, Judge Moreno said, writing something down. Then she looked at Diana. Miss Carter, do you have evidence supporting Miss Williams's claims? Yes, Diana said. I'd like to call Sophia Mitchell. Sophia took the stand. She showed the contracts, the NDA, the recordings, the emails telling her never to claim credit. When Diana asked why she spoke out, Sophia's voice shook. I thought finally, someone said it out loud. And was Zara correct? Diana asked. Yes, Sophia said firmly. Completely. Diana sat. Kraft stood to cross-examine, but Judge Moreno raised her hand. I've heard enough. Then she looked straight at Chase. Mr. Hendricks, I'm going to ask you something. His face tightened. You're under oath in this court. Can you right now, in this courtroom, sing the note in question? Chase's face went pale. Your Honor, I don't see how that's relevant. It is extremely relevant, Judge Moreno said. You want me to silence people who say you can't sing it. Prove them wrong. Sing it. The whole room held its breath. Chase looked at his lawyers, then at the judge, then at Zara. My voice isn't warmed up. I can't just perform on demand. Judge Moreno's eyes stayed cold. You performed on demand for 15 years. You sold tickets for live performances. Surely you can demonstrate it once. Chase opened his mouth. No sound came out. Judge Moreno nodded once. That's what I thought. She lifted her gavel. The motion for injunction is denied, and I am sanctioning the plaintiff for bringing a frivolous suit meant to silence truthful speech. Her voice grew sharper. Mr. Hendricks, you do not get to drag an 11-year-old child into court because she embarrassed you. Then she looked at Zara. Miss Williams, you are free to keep telling your story. That is protected speech. It is called the First Amendment. It protects truth even when truth is inconvenient. The gavel came down. The gallery exploded. Reporters rushed out. Camera flashes filled the room. Chase sat frozen while his lawyers packed their briefcases. Zara felt her mother hug her tight. She felt Miss Johnson's hand on her shoulder. She heard Sophia crying relief, not fear, outside Rachel Goldstein, and the 60 Minutes crew waited. Zara, she asked, how do you feel? Zara's voice trembled, but she smiled. I feel like I can breathe again.